Every single day, I deconstruct multi-million dollar marketing campaigns. And today, I'm going to be sharing my workflows, my tools, my Chrome extensions, and exactly how I spy on competitors, how I deconstruct their websites, what pages do they have, what ads do they running, are they targeting specific keywords. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Eugene, and I build and rank lots of websites. I've spent more than 20,000 hours actively constructing sites myself, running Google ad campaigns, SEO campaigns, Facebook ad campaigns. I've got 800 plus sites of my own that I progress through the ranks for multiple purposes: rank and rent, directories, listicle posts, backlinks, you name it. But most of all, I do it because I really love it. With me here is Julio. Julio was in a really lovey-dovey mood that he wanted to spend a bit of extra time with me because we really should go for a walk. Julio, why have you got rice in your hair? So this is one of my favorite parts, and one of my favorite things that I do every single day is I love to understand how Google makes decisions. I love to understand what it takes to rank at the top of Google. I love to understand what it takes to run a good Facebook ad, a Google ad, and it's big brands are spending lots of money on marketing. So let me share my screen and let's see what we can come up with. So let me move myself over here. So first things first, I'm going to actually start by using free tools. There's a lot of paid and expensive tools out there, and while I pay for lots of premium tools, SEMrush and Ahrefs and Surfer SEO and whatnot, for play, they save me a lot of time. Essentially, when I pay money to these companies, I get a lot of value in return. Most of it is time. I get to the answers much quicker. But today I'm going to be sharing a few workflows that are completely free. And so the very first place that I start, if I don't know the industry really well, if it's a new keyword to me, I will go to Google Trends. So the first place we're looking at is Google Trends. This thing is so cool. It essentially gives you trends of certain industries, certain keywords over time. Here I'm looking at 3 keywords. I'm looking at bone broth, pickleball, and granny flats. All campaigns that I've managed before or have on my desk to inspect and kick off a campaign. But for example, what we can see here is the term bone broth being popular back in 2010, really kicking off in 2018 and really peaking now. Obviously health is important, natural health is important, and people are paying more attention to their gut, as well as in 2020 when COVID kicked off. That was a big topic, and those Facebook ads did very well because gut health and immunity go hand in hand, and that was the Facebook ad that I ran, and it did really well. The next keyword is granny flats. People need more space. Looks like it peaked back in 2016. Now if I just remove this and remove this, goodbye and goodbye, and we just look at it on its own, look at one keyword over time, here it is moving upwards. So if you're in this space, you can see there is demand. Now how much demand? So I'll just have a look at granny flats individually and remove this and see what we get. That way we don't get any. So it looks like granny flats peaked in 2016. Looks like it's on its way down in terms of interest over time. Now what does that actually mean? The next tool that I'm going to show you is another free tool called Keyword Planner. It's free with Google Ads. So if you go and sign up for a Google Ads account, it's essentially as part of the Google advertising platform, but you don't actually need to fire up any ads to get access to this. And so what I've done here is I've selected Australia, and I've selected a few key terms: boxing gym, lawn mowing, granny flats, bone broth. And here we can see boxing gym nationally gets searched 12,000 times, lawn mowing is 40,000 times, granny flats is 27,000 times, bone broth is 22,000 times, and cleaner is 8,000 times. It's just cool to know what is the actual term that gets most search volume. Now all keywords are not created equally, they have various intent. Cleaner, one word, is $11 per click, but if I add commercial cleaner, we're going to have some interesting numbers. Commercial cleaner, bang, 39 bucks a click. And even that is quite conservative. I wouldn't be surprised if that jumps to 50 when you actually run the ad and that's the exact keyword that you want to bid on. A lot of these numbers, when you're looking at these dollar values, I know I'm not meant to be talking about Google Ads during this video, but a lot of the time Google will, I don't want to say they lie to you, but basically they're looking at this term lawn mowing and they're throwing in all of the broad match variations. So in that might go free lawn mowing or other useless keywords, and it entices you with a lower cost per click. But when you laser focus on that particular key term, I know for a fact lawn mowing is far more than $3. I've got active ads running in that space. So what did we do? We looked at trends. How are we trending with that particular keyword? We had a look at search volumes. Now, you may have seen I've got this little overlay. This is a tool called Keywords Everywhere. It's pretty cool. You pay 10 bucks, you get X amount of credits, and it feeds some of the data. The data is not always accurate, but it attempts to pull data from clickstream data, and it says here, Granny Flats, it's 27,000 searches per month. Okay, let's have a look what that actually means. 27 Granny Flats, what does Google Ad Keyword Planner says? 40,000 searches a month. See? So Google Ads is saying 40. Keywords Everywhere Chrome extension says 27,000. So you've got to take things with a grain of salt, but it's good to get a rough idea. Now, the next tool, and I'm not going to show tool, I'm actually just going to say, okay, the reason it's important to keep an eye on, I just realized you guys can't see the cost per clicks because my big head is in the way. So cost per click is over this side. The reason this is important is because you can see now lawn mowing gets 110,000 searches a month. So that's really the keyword that we want to be throwing into Google when we want to deconstruct top ranking sites. And we have Jim's Mowing, of course, at the top, or Jim's Cleaning, for example. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is a free tool called Facebook Ad Library. Every step of the way, you got to be exporting the winning numbers, exporting essentially what works, exporting what you feel is bringing them value. So I've just gone into Facebook Ad Library, I've typed in lawn mowing. Let's see if we can get any Jim's ads. Jim's Mowing, let's see if they've got any ads running. So here we go. Jim's Mowing has currently got 100 ads, active ads. And so this is where I'll take my time and pay attention to a few things. Total active time, 22 hours. I will scroll down and we want to find the longest running ads. Now this is where a tool like foreplay.co comes into play, because this tool actually saves historic ads. A lot of the time I've caught them out, they're not accurate, but it has a bigger database of ads that were running at some stage. So there's just more historic data, whereas Facebook ad data, once the ad is off, I think it stays around for a while, but I always found this to be quite cumbersome and clunky. But basically this allows you to spy on competitors' ads. And if they're running it for a month or 2 months, safe to say it might be working. At least it should go into a bucket of testing. If it's working for them, it might work for us. The things I would pay attention to is if you click the ad and you see exactly where they're sending the traffic. Now, sometimes it's hard to do that, but sometimes there is a dedicated landing page. So if I click this, nope, takes me to my Facebook page. Links, jimsmowing.sydney. Okay, it takes it to this particular page. Remove this, introduction to Jim's Mowing, how much will you make? So this is selling the franchise. Sorry, I clicked on an ad that is, right, they're selling the new franchises. Okay, so in this case, they're selling the franchise, not the lawn mowing services. I wasn't paying attention, so I might type in lawn mowing. So spend some time, look at competitors, take note of their best running ads, put them into buckets. And we've got James's Home Services, filters, platforms, media types, active status, impressions by date. Okay, yeah, so you can't really do much filter wise, but what we can do, we can scroll down, we can see 17th of September. We can see, let's see if we can find some older ads. A lot of people selling products for lawn mowing, makes sense. Product companies go pretty hard on this kind of stuff. Here we go. Spring special, freshen up your lawn for just 99 bucks. Get your lawn. So these are the kind of things to pay attention to. They're sending the traffic straight to their website. I personally wouldn't do that. I'd personally send the visitor to a landing page, a Facebook ad landing page, have a unique form there, bonus points if you have a unique contact number there. That way you can attribute conversions and things like that. So that's Facebook ad library. There is also TikTok ad library, same scenario. If you want to deconstruct competitors' videos, boxing gyms, boxing classes and whatnot, whatever the industry is, this is what I would do. So especially if you're in Shopify, if you do e-commerce, you should be, a lot of the time, Shopify platforms advertise a lot on social media. So they'll have Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, which might mean that have ads. Deconstruct those ads, especially if it's in like the cosmetic space or the beauty space, fashion. So the next one to look at is actually if we have a look at a website. Now, is actually just to look at Google and type in a brand. Let's say it's Jim's Cleaning. And then as you're inspecting, you open up Google, you type in site, semicolon, their brand, and you hit enter. Now what this does, this basically Googles just their URL. And see here we can see this one page is showing 45,000 results. Now that's wild, okay? That's a big competitor. This is, if I'm about to go up against someone like this, I'd want to know that I'm going up against someone like this, right? So in early stages of my SEO campaigns, I pay attention to how big the competitors are that I'm up against. If I have a client that hits me up and says, hey, I want to rank for this particular keyword and how much is it going to cost? Okay, we need to be the average of the top 10 for this particular keyword. If the average of the top 10, all the competitors are 145,000 pages, just that factor alone isn't going to be what will rank for us. But hey, we're up against some big boys that have lots of pages, lots of backlinks, lots of branding, lots of social media, lots of years of experience. We need to match that. That's from an SEO perspective. And so some of the things that I like doing is I like to have a look at what kind of pages they have. They've got a franchiser hub, franchisee hub, local Taz. What is this local Taz? Looks like it's their Jim's Cleaning Tasmania page. I'm assuming after this Taz they have the areas of Tasmania and / Hobart. Let's see if they got Hobart. Is that what they've just done? Hobart? Yes, I guessed it. There's a page, local Taz and then Hobart. Jim's Cleaning Group in Hobart. So this is like their geo page. This is what I'm talking about. This site's got thousands and thousands of just these geo pages. I'm assuming they might even have like suburb pages. Hobart car detailing, local car cleaning, Taz, Hobart. And all these pages, I'm assuming, are indexed. They shouldn't be because it's duplicate content, but hey, big boys like this don't. Google applies different calculations for big boys like this. So that's a cool way to really flick through a site and just dissect what they do. You can get Chrome extensions that will simply download all these pages, which is cool because you can put it in Excel and you can start mucking around. Now, one of the things that I also like to do is I use a tool called Screaming Frog. I personally pay for this tool, and the free version of this tool allows for 500 URLs to be crawled, okay? So you throw in a website URL and it will send a little robot, and it looks a little bit overwhelming and it'll shoot out with a lot of rubbish, but the key things that you're looking for here are their SEO titles, their meta descriptions, and their permalinks. Now I look for a lot more things. I look at their errors, their missing titles, missing SEO stuff. But if you're new to this, don't let this overwhelm you. Just run it. Press on this HTML button over here. So you're just looking at their pages, and just download this and feed it into ChatGPT and say, hey ChatGPT, I want to run a cleaning business. Here's my main competitor. What are the main pages that I should build based on what they have? But look, you can see the URL structure. Local tile grout cleaning, Northern Territory. Meet the team, Northern Territory. Services, car detail, best cleaners. Look at all of each page is technically targeting pressure washing ACT. Let's just check that page out. Now I know I'm jumping into a paid tool now, but we've just thrown in that particular page, and that page is sitting on 125 visitors a month. So all up, if I go back to their domain, they're sitting on 105,000 visitors a month. Now, one might look at these pages and be like, wow, these are all spammy pages. They're almost duplicate. That's what happens when you got 1.6 thousand referring domains and 175,000 backlinks. All of their sites are interlinking with another. Anyway, I don't want to go deep onto SEO. I want to come back to this audits. So competitor analysis. Now, some of the tools that I have, I'm just going to jump into their site, and some of the tools that I'm using, Keywords Everywhere allows me to go lawn mowing. If I type in lawn mowing, Keywords Everywhere gives me these really cool custom GPT reports, and I can say, get user intent on this key term, and I want to use Claude. And what it will do, it will open up, I'll make sure it's open up the right thing. It will open up Claude. Yep. And it basically feeds the key terms, and it's giving me a report on that particular key term and its intent, and it'll separate them transactional keywords and informational keywords. So then these keywords will go into the blog or an FAQ or an explainer video, and these keywords will go into a page like an SEO page that's designed to rank for those keywords, right? So that tool is called Keywords Everywhere. That tool is also part of this tool here that I use. It's called SEO Minion. Now there's a lot of tools out there. I think there's a really good one called Detailed, which is completely free. It's just because I pay for Keywords Everywhere, I pay for this one as well. Now this one gives me really simple SEO analysis in terms of their SEO title, their meta description, their H1 titles, Australia's #1 mowing and garden care company. They got the main keyword in the SEO title, and then I basically look at their titles on their homepage. Okay, very cool tool. Another cool tool that I use a lot is this color picker. When I'm building a lot of websites, it allows me to grab the color of the site really easily. That's unrelated to spying on competitors, but a really good one that I use a lot is called WP Analyzer, and that just tells me that most sites at the top of Google are WordPress in most cases, or Shopify. In any competitive space, it's still very much WordPress to dominate it, not because they're better, but just because they're more agile, easier to customize with a whole bunch of SEO orientated plugins and stuff like that. It looks like these guys have done a rebuild at some stage. Jim's Mowing. Let's have a look if this website, how it's gone. Oh yeah, they had a dip. I wonder if that's when they rebuilt the site. So now that we've touched on mostly free tools, 50-50, I'm going to show you what buttons I mostly click on in Ahrefs when I'm dissecting a website. So I look at organic search. I like to understand their trends. I want to know what happened here. Maybe they did a website rebuild. Maybe there was a Google algorithm. This one here might not have been too kind for the March core algorithm. Maybe they had some changes. I dare say they rebuilt the site, because look at this. Maybe they cleaned up all of their geo pages. Maybe they had lots of thousands of suburb pages. Maybe they cleaned them up, and as a result, Google's cleaned them up as well. Maybe. This is not about that. This is about deconstructing their top organic keywords. These are the keywords they're ranking for, naturally, gyms, their brand, and their pages. This is where the gold happens. Now, it's one thing to look at the pages from Screaming Frog, and it's another thing to view the pages and with a list of most traffic to least traffic and traffic value. What time can you mow your lawn? So if you're looking for blog ideas, there it is. What time can you mow your lawn? What a really odd URL structure though. 2023, so January 2023, they published this. January 2022, they published this. What time can you mow your lawn? Let's have a look at this blog. This is one of the things I'll be looking at. Articles, lawn care, no author. Look at this. They used to have that. So these were used to be links, but obviously that link is now broken. So it's just put a line through it. It's fascinating that this rubbish piece of content gets so much traffic. Look at this. That page used to be there. Now it's broken. It's 404. Look, this is a 404. I knew it. These used to be geo pages. What a guess. Environment Protection Authority South Australia. That's a dead link that's been redirected. Can you see the cross through it? That's a WordPress default. When the link is broken, it'll put a cross through it. Anyway, just goes to show that the rules that apply to the little guys are not the rules that apply to the big guys. Gutter cleaning, right? Lawn mowing. A lot of these pages at the top will be common sense pages, but if you want some ideas on what kind of blogs to write, I would go write what time can you mow your lawn. I would go and research the shit on that particular keyword. If you are in the lawn mowing space, give you 5 cents, get in front of the camera, do a video, put your own spin on it so your content is one, unique, entertaining, enjoyable, has a different perspective, right? Add hooks and things like that. But there's a lot of value that comes from deconstructing sites, because you spend an hour looking at any industry and you're going to have a lot more clarity on the things that you should do if you're going to be entering this space. If you want to grow a business in the space, if you want to do some affiliate marketing in the space, grow a social profile, you've got unlimited content ideas. The next thing I'd look at is their paid keywords. So if they're spending money on Google advertising, what are the terms that they're bidding on? Now, Ahrefs has got some pretty rubbish keyword ads data, but makes sense. Lawn mowing prices, rubbish removal, and you can see where they're spending it. So obviously it's a pretty big company. And you can see they're sending their visitors straight to home pages or service pages. I personally wouldn't be doing that. You want to be paying attention to their ads. Now this is where there is another tool that I'll share. It's called Google Ads Transparency Center. And this basically doesn't work all the time. The bigger the brand, the more data they'll have. It's weird. Like a lot of the stuff that I search for, I can't find here. So I personally don't use this much. But here is Jim's Cleaning. 64 active ads. You can see how their ads are showing. You can see the offers that they're leading with, and you can also see where they're sending their traffic. I think you should be able to. Keyword should. And so if you're in the cleaning space, mattress deep cleans. There you go. So there's the keyword. Take them out to a page on your site that talks about mattress cleans, couch cleans, affordable carpet cleaning. This is what their banner ads look like, the visual ads that they're running with. I think that's a good start. So what else have I got here that might be helpful? This tool allows me to check fonts, SEO Minion, of course, a color picker, image downloader, which is cool, downloading images from any site. 4Play allows me to save ads to my 4Play account, which is basically an ads library. So if I see an interesting ad, whether I see it on my phone or any device, I save it. It's like a swipe file. So years later, my swipe file is getting pretty thick. Hope that helps. And first thing I'd be doing in any industry is go and deconstruct competitors, see where they're spending their money. A lot of the time, like if I'm building a website for an accountant, yes, there are big accounting firms that I can deconstruct. But what I'll also do is I'll go pay attention to the software providers for accounting, like the accounting software, because a lot of the time, the wording that they use on their website, their branding, their direction, their marketing direction is exactly what a local bookkeeper or an accountant should be doing. And so when you look into the industry, especially into the software industry of that space, you'll find big brands with big marketing budgets where there's a lot of money went into the design of that website, a lot of money went into the media, the logo, and other elements, and take inspiration from that. Hope it helps.